Yeah, I mean, I think, and Gaff touched on it before the game, that when we drop our level, it's difficult to win this league, and I think maybe we're a little fatigued. We're just trying to work ourselves into the game, and look, this is their season, and they gave everything that first half, and I don't think we were really initially prepared for that, and thought maybe it would just come, and it didn't come, right? And they scored a good goal, and I think that woke us up going into halftime and into the second half. You saw a change in the mentality in the collective group.
Adrian said he talked to you guys yesterday about complacency. Did you see any of that?
I mean, I think I just touched on it, right? It was just a little bit of that, hey, let's work ourselves into the game, and that's not how it works in this league. If you want to consistently win, you have to give what we gave in the second half the whole game.
Adrian said that he felt like there was still a belief at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you kind of feel like that was in this locker room, and how much of it was just the recent run that you guys have had as well contributing to that?
I think those things, they feed off each other, right? Like one hand washes the other, in the sense of when you're winning games, you believe more, you have more confidence, you trust each other more. We definitely felt that was a part of halftime and it moving in the direction we wanted, and ultimately us battling back and winning the game. Was that you?
Well, on Wednesday when Adrian was speaking with media, he dubbed this being a trap game. How important is it for you? How important is it for the team to avoid a trap game in the context of falling to a team lower than you in the table?
Again, it's not easy to win, and you have to take these points at home, and ultimately it's a mentality thing. You might not have the energy, you might not have all the plays clicking how we want, but I think over the course of the 90 minutes we found a way to come through that, even though we maybe dug ourselves a hole.
Do you mean 1P or 2?
I have to ask him. I don't know.
When Mender comes on, obviously it's kind of a change in shape, right, with two up and maybe a little bit more exposed in the midfield. How did you feel like you needed to kind of solidify things as you guys are going for a goal?
Yeah, I think those two guys, I mean, he and Luis are really giving the center backs problems, because now they're having to deal with 1v1 situations. And then it's really, I thought what helped us immensely was the fullback play. These guys getting high, combining with Ray, combining with Fraga, and then now giving their fullbacks issues to deal with. And you see the second goal, it's exactly what happened. So those two guys, their movement, it's nice when you have two strikers, because now one of those guys, like Luis, pulls off in the box and he can be free.
What does it show you about, you guys are a good team, but you guys have aspirations to be a great team, to kind of get 3 points even when you're not at your best?
That's what teams that ultimately do the things they want to do in the playoffs have to have in their DNA. And this is something where we were tested today, and we came through that test. Obviously, we don't want to be digging ourselves a hole, but that's sometimes it's a good wake-up call in a way for us to see what our medal is.
Adrian said it didn't look good on Bakai. How much concern is there on that?
Look, Bakai is someone that we know how important he is to the group, and he's not a guy that goes down easy, and he certainly doesn't yell out like he yelled out in that play. So we're not going to speculate. We don't know as players. I'm sure they've already gotten him squared away and looking at X-rays or MRIs or whatever it may be. So hopefully it's not too serious. But again, he's a tough guy, and the way he went down is a little concerning, I think, just in the sense of how painful it seemed.
Does the KC result at home, where you guys had to get a 1-1, not get the 3 points, how do you kind of, is that a reference point?
Yeah, that was referenced before the game as something where basically don't do that. And I think the difference today was we responded better in the second half, whereas in that game against KC, I think we floundered for majority of it. So we felt like even once we scored the first goal here, that you could see their heads drop. You could see their lack of confidence, and we preyed upon that.
Well, seeing a team like LAFC drop points in back-to-back matches, knowing you guys beat Austin last week and Austin beat LAFC last night, what kind of confidence does that instill in you guys as a team, knowing that you're able to compete with who are dubbed the best in the league at the moment?
Yeah, but then think about San Jose beat LAFC last week, and San Jose is well below the playoff line, right? These are situations where any week, any game day in this league, you can win or lose. So I think our focus right now is game by game, of course, but the energy, the mentality, and the focus just always has to be at 100%.
What's it meant for your team to have Reynoso add prominent goal scoring to all the playmaking?
Yeah, I mean, we know his quality is top 2 in the league. So when he's clicking and doing the things that we know he's capable of doing, it changes everything for us. And it also makes the opponent so much more worried about what we can do, and that opens up space for Fraga, for Luis, for Mender, for Robin, Bongi, etc. And that makes us a more dangerous team.
That was no goal though, right?
It was on frame, I think.
Will? I got one more.
Yeah.
Adrian said that he felt like the crowd pulled the team across the line.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they've gotten louder as the season has worn on?
Man, they're incredible. They're incredible. And we feed them, they feed us. And the more you can do that, and our biggest push for us right now is to get those home playoff games, because we know when we're in front of these guys, it changes the results for us.
Complacency, given the fact that it was between Austin and RSL and Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel like the context of this game was part of your performance in the first half, or did you feel like it was not related to that?
Obviously, we know how big every 3 points is the stretch of the season, but to me, it kind of felt like everyone kind of came with a bit too much energy, too excited, because, I mean, we're trying to go forward with every touch, and we're trying to score goals with 2 or 3 passes instead of keeping possession, moving them around a bit, and just getting settled in. So, yeah, I think that first half was sloppy because, not for the want of trying, but because we were probably trying to do too much. And then when, instead of taking a step back and getting back to what we're good at, we just kind of doubled down and kept trying to do the same thing. And so, no, I don't think it was complacency. I think, knowing my teammates for sure, we know that we're trying to make sure we finish in the top 4 for our fans to see a live playoff game. So, yeah, and obviously just that second half we were able to settle down a bit, and once we connect a few passes, we show that we can do what we do most of the season.
Seeing your center back partner in Bakai go down so early in the match,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, first of all, on what happened, and secondly, what is it like to have Brent come in?
I mean, yeah, because I didn't really see what happened. I just thought he got kicked, and then obviously the doc is doing the test, and it doesn't look good. So, no, I'm gutted for him. It seems like a pretty bad one. So, yeah, I'm just gutted for him. And I mean, and then looking to Brent, every time he's been asked to step in and do a job, he does it. He's ready. Showed again tonight. So, yeah, looks like we've got to get the partnership back together again down the stretch of the season. So, yeah, I'm happy it's him, and we're good to go.
You used to seeing Brent with a mustache like that next to you?
Hey, he's got. If we win with it, he's got to keep it. So it's only going to get longer and filthier. So there we go.
Will you be growing a mustache to match his?
No, we won without me having one. So I think I'll be all right. My wife wouldn't approve.
Trapp was just saying that he thinks now that Reynos is really starting to score a lot of goals, he's a top 2 player in the league. What are your thoughts on him and the way he's played this year?
I mean, I think I said at the beginning of last season, and definitely at the beginning of this season, that he can be the best player in this league. But no one player can win games and take over games by themselves. They need teammates around them to help them a bit. So I think when we're playing well, everyone around him is playing well, then that's when he's at his best. So he can certainly score goals, create goals, but he needs the players around him to help him. But yeah, for me, I don't think there's another player in this league that I take over him.
How do you look at the way that you guys are able to get 3 points when you're not at your best? Kind of maybe in previous years where you don't play your best and you get 1, or maybe even earlier this year in the KC game where you don't play your best and you get 1. How do you feel like getting the 3 and kind of how that matches with what you guys want to do this year?
Yeah, I think it's the mentality of that side of things. I think this last stretch, whatever that we've been on, we've kind of really stepped up in most ways. That obviously earlier in the season we'd play for 45 minutes and then kind of collapse and drop points and concede goals, turn 3-0 games into 3-2s. So now we've stepped it up and we're playing a lot more together for 90 minutes, and I think this is another facet of the mentality of it, that when we're not at our best, we can still grind them out. When we go down a goal, we can still come back. So I think all of that kind of, when it comes to the business end of the season, that it's important that we can still get results no matter what.
Adrian said at the halftime of the KC game that he had to come in here and almost have a heart attack to get a response
Yeah.
from you guys. today he said, hey, I have belief in that these guys can get something out of this game.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a marketed difference between those two?
I mean, it's kind of funny because, he's had a go at us in the first halftime of the KC game, and then, we're in the winning position and we dropped the points, and then today it just changed the tact a little bit, and we come back and score 2 goals in the second half. So I think, obviously, he's fully aware of what we're capable of, and he doesn't want us to let ourselves down when we don't fulfill our potential, and there's no way we should give anything but what we're capable of. So when we do that, it is disappointing, and obviously us players on the field, sometimes you need someone on the outside looking in that you respect to tell you that. Work today.
Looking at your current run of form and seeing teams like LAFC drop points 2 weeks in a row, you guys beat Austin. Austin just beat LAFC last night. The team's dubbed the best in the league at the moment. What does it mean to be able to see those results and know that you guys are in the form you guys are?
So who's the best in the?
They dubbed LAFC and Austin are dubbed the best in the league at the moment due to the stands in the table, seeing them drop points, both game into each other.
No,
Does it make you confidence?
I mean, they've shown throughout the season, picking up points all year long, that they deserve to be there. This is the time of the season where you want to be peaking, where you want to start performing, and we're not. I think we still have room to improve and getting results too. And we still got some tough games ahead to prove ourselves against some difficult teams, against the best team in the league. So, they can have all the titles, whatever, all the accolades, all the media run about them. I think we know in this room what we're capable of, and we just get to work.
What was Adrian's approach at halftime other than to make the substitution?
I think because he knew we were kind of a bit frantic, and when we're just forcing balls and a bit needless, that's not kind of who we are. And when we're playing our best football, we're just rushing things. So we're just telling us to calm down, be a bit patient, but still keep that energy and intensity, because when we're at home in front of our home fans, we need to make sure we get them involved in the game, because they've been massive for us in every single home game since I've been here, all 5 years. So once we get our crowd involved, and when the second goal went in, that was pretty damn loud. They've been riding with us for years, so it's kind of what I expect from our fans, and yeah.
So Adrian wasn't as animated at halftime as he was in the KC game?
No, not as animated, no.